Hello everyone, this is Dr. Iverson with a video on other 7th chord techniques, a video to accompany Aldwell and Schachter, chapter 25. One of the main meaty topics in this chapter has to do with sequences and using 7th chords in sequences. Let's review what we already know to be true about sequences. First, all sequences have a repeated intervallic pattern between chord roots. If you use jazz chords, you can easily see and describe this root motion. 2, all sequences have a repeated voice leading pattern, usually visible between soprano and bass lines, but also involving the inner voices in the texture. If you make an outer voice reduction, it will be easy to see the repeated voice leading pattern. Let's take a quick look at a musical example, a Bach English Suite number 3. In G minor. This is from the prelude. Here we have a score with a little more music than we need. We're going to be analyzing starting at measure 15 to about 21. I'll play this excerpt for you. If you heard me re-articulating the tied notes, good for you. I did that on purpose. They're important notes and I wanted you to hear them and hear their resolution. We'll talk more about that in a second. Right now, pause your video and do jazz chords for that excerpt. Okay, we're back and you've done your jazz chords. Let's check the answers. We begin with a G minor, a C minor 7, F, B flat major 7, E flat, A half diminished 7, D, and ending with a G minor. Now it's clear from this sequence and also from the key signature, I think, that we're in G minor. A sequence is a little bit of a warp zone, and sometimes I care more about where it begins and where it ends than I do about all of the Roman numerals in between. So it begins on a 1 and it takes us to a 5. Here the texture changes. You could also go ahead and label the G minor with a 1 if you like. Now it's actually possible to label all of the other chords in the sequence with Roman numerals as well. In fact, this is a diatonic sequence. This means that it uses all scale notes from G minor. But as I said, because the sequence is kind of a warp zone, I'm more concerned about the beginning and the ending points. Where does the sequence take us? Than I am about labeling all of the Roman numerals in the middle. Take a moment and think about what is the root motion of this sequence. Looking at the jazz chords. That's right, it's a motion by descending fifths. So G down to C, it's down a fifth. C down to F, down a fifth. F to B flat, down a fifth, right? In order to get to the new chord each time, the root motion is down a fifth. We also have a repeated voice leading pattern in the outer voices. I would like to take a look at these special notes here, the sevenths of the chords. So the B flat there that I've circled is the 7th of the C minor 7, C, E flat, G, B flat. Where does it resolve? It resolves down to the A, that's right. Here's our next 7th, the A as the part of the B flat major 7, B flat, D, F, A. Where does the A resolve? It resolves down to G by step. And our next 7th here is the G, part of the A half diminished 7, A, C, E flat, G. Where does the G resolve? Down by half step to the F sharp. I wonder if that's a coincidence. It is not. Chord sevenths always resolve down. This will be true in sequences as well as in other situations. This is something to notice when you're doing analysis, and it's something to do in your part writing. There are many other kinds of sequences that incorporate 7th chords. Pause your video and go get your textbook so you can follow along with a couple of examples with me. Okay, we're back. We're going to begin on page 452 with example 25-5. This is root motion by fifth with 7/6 suspensions. So that was a chain of 7/6 suspensions like you might have had in counterpoint. Here it is with a descending fifth bass pattern. One more time without mistakes. Turn to page 455 and take a look at example 25-9, more root motion by fifth with the upper voices in descending thirds. Anyone recognize that progression? That's the Pachelbel canon progression. Good work. Let's take a look at the bottom of page 455 in example 25-10, where we'll find root motion by third this time, with the seventh prepared in an inner voice. This creates an ascending 5/6 progression in the soprano bass outer voice framework. Your book is very good at providing a catalog of many different kinds of sequences involving seventh chords. My suggestion is that instead of memorizing all of these, focus on being able to identify the repeated root motion and the repeated voice leading pattern in whatever sequence you might encounter. Let's take another look at a possibility, an unusual possibility for a chord seventh here in a Mozart Piano Concerto. K467. This is from the early on when the pianist enters. Take a moment, pause your video, and do the jazz chords. Okay, we're back. The jazz chords are super easy. C, G7, C, G7, C, G. The Roman numerals are easy too. We're clearly in C major, and we have 1, 5, 6, 5, 1, 5, 6, 5, 1, coming to a half cadence. So tonic prolongation ending with a half cadence. I would like us to pay special attention to the seventh of that first 5/7 chord. It's highlighted in the soprano voice. And remember what we said earlier about sevenths. They always resolve down. Yeah, that's right. So what should melodically be happening in the next one chord at the beginning of the third measure of the excerpt? Yeah, we should have a mi. It should resolve down to an E right away. In fact, that doesn't happen. And that whole third measure seems to prolong the seventh, even as the harmony is changing underneath. We finally get the melodic resolution that we expect, a measure too late. This would be an example of a delayed resolution of a seventh. So keep in mind that not only does the seventh need to resolve down, it needs to do so in the same register and in the same voice. Usually that happens immediately. Sometimes it's delayed, and that's another way of creating tension and prolongation. There are many individual situations that involve unusual treatment of sevenths, including transferred resolutions, extended sevenths, apparent seventh chords, or chord sevenths that seem to resolve up. Is it really a chord seventh? And pedal points. So for more on that, read your textbook, chapter 25. Thanks for watching.